What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, New York Prepper. Just testing out my GoPro camera, which I'm going to use over the next few months to bring you guys some action videos of me in the woods, you know, showing you guys some practical stuff instead of just, you know, talking all the time. But I'm on this little abandoned railroad track near my house, and there's actually a nature preserve here. This nice little kind of like secluded pond, and I kind of wanted to take some time to talk about, you know, safety and security, you know, for when you're hiking, and also for SHTF. So, you know, one of the things that I always do when I'm out in the woods, you know, if I'm hiking or something, is I always look around me and I look on the ground for any signs of wildlife to see what kind of, you know, animals are occupying the area that I'm hiking in. And so, like, what I noticed here was I noticed there was some coyote tracks, and I can actually show you right here on the ground, right there, some coyote tracks, and there's deer tracks right here, and you could see the coyote track right there, and they're just hanging out right where the deer go. You know, they're following the deer around. There's a nice, there it is right there, you see that coyote track? And then right over here you can see the deer tracks right here. You know, the deer tracks are just everywhere. So you want to keep an eye on, you know, what kind of wildlife inhabit the area, because you know, if you're hiking, you never know if you're gonna run into, you know, a coyote or a bear, you know, or some other type of animal that could pose a threat to you and your loved ones, you know. So I like to just keep my eye out on the ground instead of just looking around what's in front of me or being on my cell phone. I like to really be alert and aware of my surroundings at all times, so I can, you know, figure out what's occupying the area. And so you can see all the tracks right here on the ground, coyote and deer tracks. And we actually, so it was funny, when I was walking, I actually saw some coyote scat, and I knew that there was coyotes in the area just because we saw a lot of deer tracks too. And I actually ended up just seeing the coyote not too long ago. The sun's actually going down right now, but I saw the coyote run across in front of us, and so that's one of the reasons why you should always be alert, you know, because you don't know what's out there. And and then, you know, aside from just hiking safety, I wanted to talk about SHTF and using alternate methods of travel. So, like over here, this is an abandoned railroad line, and so here, what we have here, what you're looking at, is a turn in the railroad, you know. And if this was SHTF, you know, you would really want to approach the other side of that turn with caution, because this is like a typical area. I made a video about ambushes the other day, and how, you know, if you're traveling on the road or by foot, that you should avoid, you know, choke points and funnels, and you know, be very cautious around turns if you're coming around the bend of a roadway or a bend in a hiking trail or whatever. And so, as you can see, the visibility is very limited down there. You look down the tracks, and all you can see is it's probably about, you know, 100 to 200 yards before it starts to turn. And you know, on the other side of that turn, you don't know what's waiting for you because the visibility is limited. So, you know, you can really be in a bad situation if, you know, you're walking down this area here and you're coming around that turn, and somebody could pin you down over there. As soon as you cross the other side and you make that bend, there could be, you know, somebody waiting there for you and your group, and, you know, then they can surprise you, and then they can come around from the other side of the turn and kind of prevent you from escaping, and then they can, you know, they basically put you in a kill zone area, you know. So you want to be very cautious around turns, you know, when you're in SHTF, and you know, especially if you're on like a hiking trail, or like this is an abandoned railroad. Also, another thing with the railroads too is that, you know, you can see like a very long distance away because it's very open. And if you're walking down the railroad, people are going to see you from a long distance. So it's better to try to, let's say, walk on the side of the railroad over here, you know, rather than right in the middle, you know, or off on the side in the bushes somewhere like over here. You know, walk on the side of the railroad. Don't just walk right in the middle, because, you know, if you're looking down a railroad line, the visibility is just, you know, if you've ever, you know, looked down like a pair of railroad lines and you look down, you can see for like a mile or two. And if anybody's traveling, you know, on foot or on an ATV, you can see it from a long distance. So, you know, my good recommendation to you guys is if it was an SHTF situation, you try to, you know, walk to the side of the railroad. You know, don't just stand right in the middle of it, you know, especially if you're walking out into an open area, kind of like this this pond area, for example. You know, if you're walking out into this pond area here, hey babe, what's going on?
I just filmed a YouTube video.
Oh, okay. So, you know, if you're walking out into this pond area, you know, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. You know, you're gonna be, you know, visible to anybody. You know, as you can see, the railroad goes straight down, and you're just gonna stand out. So you don't want to be out in the open like that. That's just a little tip that I had. And then, you know, another thing too is if you're hiking, you know, you want to you know, carry some type of self-defense items with you and tools, because I was reading the news and there was a hiker that got you know, killed by a guy with a machete, you know, some crazy dude with a machete. And so, you know, in a situation like that, you know, you always want to carry some type of pepper spray or some type of a knife or pistol, whatever you can, you know, because you know, if you're out here and you don't know how to handle yourself, you don't know self-defense or, you know, anything, you've never, you know, been in a violent situation, then you're in a disadvantage, you know, because if you were to get attacked and you're out in a wooded area and you're far away from civilization, you know, you're going to be in trouble. If you get stabbed by somebody or shot, whatever, you're going to bleed out. So my recommendation is to always carry some type of weapon and or something that you can use for self-defense, and don't just rely on one tool. Have like multiple tools that you can go to, you know, in case your main tool fails, you know. In the case of the murder with the machete, the guy was actually stalking people for days. It was on the Appalachian Trail, and you can read about it online. I think the guy's name was James Jordan. And his nickname was called the Sovereign, and he stabbed someone to death with a machete. And you know, have multiple items with you. Have, you know, if you can conceal carry a pistol, you know, and then have something that you can get as a backup, you know. So carry your pistol, have some bear spray is really good. Bear spray is even better than personal defense sprays because it creates a big fog. And you don't have to be as precise with it. And then I would also have some type of a blade, you know, folding knife or a fixed blade knife is the best, you know. And then, you know, you can also create a spear when you're hiking. You can take a piece of wood and just create a little spear, you know, sharpen the end of it, and, you know, this will give you some distance from your attackers. So that's just some quick little tips. Hope you guys are enjoying your Sunday, and you know, I hope you're enjoying my scenery here, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care and God bless. New York Prepper out. See guys, it was what I was talking about, how the visibility over here, if this was, you know, an SHTF situation and I was using this railroad as a mode of travel, I would try to stay off. I wouldn't want to be walking on the middle of the tracks like this right now. I try to be off to the side, as you can see, like a mile away. So it's just a quick little example here. All right guys, take care. God bless. See you soon. What's going on, guys? Yeah, and so this is what I was talking about, you know. Here's some coyote poop. And if I wasn't looking on the ground and being aware, I could have just walked right over and I wouldn't know that there's active coyote activity in the area. You can see this poop is a white color. That's from the fur, the deer fur that they've been eating deer and small animals. You can see pieces of bones in there that they chewed up, so they've probably been eating small animals, or so that's coyote poop. So if you're not alert and you're not paying attention, you're not going to pick up on these things. You should always be aware of your surroundings when you're out in the woods, because even a coyote can pose a danger. So all right, guys, there's more coyote poop. Must be in their territory here. They're marking the territory by pooping everywhere.
Don't put me in it. I'm not kidding.
Also, you don't want to step on a snake or something. I don't know what kind of snake this is, but he's obviously living under these beams here. As you can see, there's a shed right underneath. So that's why you always want to be alert. All right. I'm right behind you, babe.